This week on Getaway Day MLB Podcast, two friends talk about postseason baseball. The Yankees versus the Red Sox. The Guardians versus the Tigers. Who comes out on top? Wait to find out.
Also talking to your mic like that the entire hour in that voice.
So how was that for a good cold open?
It was great.
Right? I thought that
awesome.
That seemed fun, so we went with it. Hello, and welcome back to Getaway Day. As always, I am Gautam, he is Mason, Bunk is in the chat. Boom. Nailed it. It is postseason baseball time. We did not podcast last week. That I was going through a little bit of anxiety and things, and it wasn't great. So skip last week. We are back. We're doing this stuff. Baseball has happened. In fact, this postseason so far has been matchup after matchup after matchup of rivals. And I think that is kind of how you want the postseason to be. Makes it so much more fun. And just in this first round, which is obviously already over, where today was game 2 of the second round for the American League. But in the wild card round, you had the Tigers versus the Guardians, the Red Sox versus the Yankees. You had a historic rivalry that is not anything that's been relevant since the 90s, but in the Reds and the Dodgers. So a lot of good matchups. We definitely need to start by talking about the wild card round, and then we'll transition over to what is currently happening in the division series. So Gautam, I know that you are a little partial to one of these series. And so let's go ahead and start there. So Chicago hosted the San Diego Padres for 3 games at Wrigley Field. It went to all 3 games. In fact, only one of the wild card series did not go the whole 3 games, and that was the Dodgers hosting the Reds. So Cubs, Padres, 3 games. What happened? Give me the highlights.
Well, I guess I'll start by saying I was incredibly excited for this series, considering the Cubs have not played a real postseason series. They did play one in 2020 since going all the way back to 2017, which is also the last time they won a series in the playoffs. And just personally, where was I in 2017? I was watching
hanging out
those
with me.
games in our dorm room in our senior year of college, and I didn't think it would take this long for them to play in another postseason series and win it. And so much stuff has happened, in our lives, and we've been podcasting now for 5 years, and the Cubs have never made it to this stage in the postseason in all that time, which is kind of crazy.
To be honest, neither one of our teams has had that much success since we were in college, because the Cardinals have made the postseason twice, I think, since we graduated, and
maybe a few more times than that, right? Well, not many.
Not too many more. And
they definitely haven't had much success.
Yeah. But I definitely feel you there. It's one of those that it doesn't feel like it should take that long. You would think, okay, we're going to have a 3-year dip maybe, and then we'll get back to it. And that's not the way the cookie's been crumbling recently.
And kind of with the Cubs' success there in their peak of their mid 2010s teams, they were making the playoffs every year, right? They made the playoffs in 15, 16, 17, 18, and 20. So for them to get back to it now, it's like, wow, that was almost like you almost start taking it for granted that they're going to be like in it every year. And for me, just this series was so exciting because it's like you haven't I haven't had this feeling for my team. I enjoy the playoffs and everything, but it's just a lot different when it's your own team. And I was hyped. So, but the actual series, it was pretty much what everybody expected. It was going to be low scoring games. Um,
I think
each one of the three games, they were all like 3 runs max
yeah, I was gonna say
in
I
all
think
three
three
games.
runs was it was 3-1, 3-0,
Three
3-1.
nothing. Yeah. So I mean, both teams have solid pitching. The Padres had the super bullpen, and Mike Schilt was not afraid to go to his bullpen, and it almost uh, hindered him kind of for Game 3 because in Game 2, when Dylan Cease was pitching pretty well, like totally fine, he still decided to go straight to the bullpen in the 4th inning, even though Dylan Cease had not walked a batter. He'd struck out 5, given up no runs, but he had to cover the rest of the game with his bullpen. Ended up leaning on some of his bullpen aces like Adrian Morejon. Mason Miller was absolutely ridiculous in this series. He threw a pitch 104.5 miles per hour. He struck out every batter he faced, I believe, in the series, pitching in Game 1 and Game 2, but he wasn't available in Game 3 there. Um, so, I mean, ultimately, I think that was one of the most interesting parts of the series was just Mike Schilt um, being able to lean on his bullpen because he had it, but uh, he was really aggressive, and I guess I don't have a problem with the way he managed it because they basically are do or die games in the wild card series. You can't really afford a loss, so you're going to lean on all your best
Well,
players.
and you really can't afford a loss as the visiting team because
Correct.
you do
Yeah.
not get to go home for a game.
No. No. And the environment was really wild. It was rocking at Wrigley. Like literally, the press box was like oscillating. It was crazy. Uh, and ultimately, though, the Padres they did not hit in this series, and that's kind of their weak point in their team. Like with the bottom of their order not really being the most fearsome of hitters. Um, Fernando Tatis did not have a good series. He actually struck out like 4 times in that Game 3. Um, Machado had a big homer in Game 2 in the game they won, but the Cubs kind of just did enough to win this game, and their bullpen not as heralded as um, the Padres. They actually locked down, and like Daniel Palencia, Brad Keller, Andrew Kittredge, like they all pitched really well and did not give anything up to the Padres really.
So you say I believe Daniel Palencia actually qualified for both of the wins, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
I think so.
He he definitely did. Yeah, Game 1 because he pitched in the mid innings when
Let's
the
see.
Cubs ended up taking the
So
lead with back to
yes,
back homers.
he got the win on Tuesday and he got the win on Thursday.
Yeah, so he was kind of like Craig Counsell's guy that he would go to first. Um, he'd been pitching a lot of late game situations, like as a closer for most of the year. Then he was injured, and he came back near the end of the season. But now he's kind of like the bullpen ace, so he's just gonna be deployed in the tough situations, and he came through in a big way.
So I'm looking just at the box scores here, and
Yeah,
it looks like while there wasn't a crazy amount of offense, there were a couple of guys who I know in the second half had been kind of surging there for the Cubs,
Michael
which is
Bush.
nice seeing as PCA and Kyle Tucker both kind of took a step back in the second half. But Michael Bush came out and in the 7th inning of Game 3 pretty much closed the door on the Padres with a solo shot, which you wouldn't think a solo shot is really going to make or break you. But when all 3 games, 3 runs wins it, it's kind of huge. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, and he he crushed the ball.
He did. Absolutely, yeah. Did you see what happened in the very last inning of the series?
I did not.
So, the Cubs are up 3-0 going into this last inning. Brad Keller's still pitching. He'd already pitched the eighth, so he's trying to close this game out. Jackson Merrill hits a leadoff home run in the ninth. So they pull within 3-1, and then Xander Bogaerts comes up, and he's about to draw a walk here on a 3-2 pitch, and he gets rung up on a pitch that's well outside the strike zone. I mean, it's like not even close. Okay, so he's livid. The Padres are livid, and in fact, like after the game, they started like totally berating the umpires. It almost got like physical as the umpires were like going through the dugout. The Padres guys were like yelling at them, and it was crazy. But it could have been a game changing call because that would have been Bogarts on first base to get the tying run on base. Keller ended up like hitting two more batters after that.
So he hit Ryan O'Hearn to put him on second,
Yep.
and then
he got pulled.
there was a challenge on a play at first where Cronenworth grounded out. They challenged it. It was upheld.
Yep.
But it advanced Bryce Johnson to second. And Ryan O'Hearn had, I guess, singled to get on in front of him.
No, he also got hit.
Oh, why does it not tell me that he got hit by pitch?
I don't know.
Oh, because I'm in key moments. And apparently him getting hit by pitch is not a key moment.
No.
My bad.
But there was a little bit of drama there in the ninth inning.
Okay. Xander called out on really strikes. Close. O'Hearn hit by pitch. Bryce Johnson hit by pitch. And then that play. And then Freddie Fermin flied out. Yep. Okay.
So you had to call on Kittredge to get those last couple outs. But ultimately the Cubs came through, and now they're moving on to play the Brewers, their big rivals.
Yeah, and we will come back to that one, but we have a couple other wildcard series to talk about first. So let's go ahead and talk about the boring one first. The one that didn't go to 3 games.
Oh, okay.
The one where the Dodgers just came out here and absolutely smacked the crap out of the Reds.
I know, yeah. Okay, so like obviously, big picture, like you look at these two teams, you're like, oh, the Dodgers are the clear favorite. But in my eyes, I was like, I see upset potential here. I see Hunter Green. I see Nick Lodolo. I could see a way the Reds steal the series somehow, and then everybody's like going to go crazy when the Dodgers lose this series. That's not how it played out at all. I mean, Hunter Green got crushed.
Yeah,
it was just so Shohei immediately hit a home run in the first inning.
Yep, so Shohei hit a leadoff home run. Teo had a home run off of Hunter Green in the third inning. Tommy Edman had a third inning home run off of Hunter Green. And then later in the game, Ohtani homered off of Phillips. And Teo also homered off of Phillips.
Yeah.
So lots of home runs in that game. Hunter Green was tagged for 5 earned over 3 innings, giving up 3 home runs and only getting 4 strikeouts. So oddly enough, the guy who I anticipated to give up all the runs had a clean inning in 2/3 with 4 Ks.
Who's that?
Scott Barlow.
Oh.
Every single time I've seen Scott Barlow pitch, he's given up at least 1 home run, if not 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Reds' path to winning this series, though, was their pitching, because we kind of know that they don't have a great offense. And, I mean, Yamamoto completely dominated them in game 1. Or
Snell was game 1.
Or was it Snell?
Snell was game 1. But Snell absolutely dominated him. Yeah. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts.
I was going to say, he got through 7 innings. I'm going to repeat that again. Blake Snell got through 7 innings in a postseason start. He's never done that in his entire career. So he was just locked in.
And him getting pulled after 7 innings did not cause his team to lose the World Series.
No, no. Oh, and then one thing that was really interesting was the usage of Roki Sasaki, who actually ended up closing out game two, I believe.
I believe so. Yes, he did.
And
He got his
maybe
first. So,
he got a save
he
yesterday.
closed out that game, and then he got the save in game one of the division series.
Correct. So
So
we may have found a role for Roki Sasaki on the 2025 Dodgers because he's obviously not going to be a starter. He missed so much time with injury, and the Dodgers bullpen has been their clear weakness, especially in the second half of the season. Nobody stepped up and taken that closer role. They don't really have like the most reliable guys in their bullpen. But Roki coming out in short spurts and throwing 101, I mean, if he's like actually going to be able to do that, it's going to be like impressive. It's going to be awesome.
yeah, and this is coming off of like a week and a half before the postseason of everyone saying, "Well, is Otani gonna pitch out of the bullpen?" Because they
Yeah.
need someone locked down. Well, if Roki can take that job, Shohei got the start in game one yesterday and pitched pretty well, I believe, right?
He pitched well. He gave up 3 runs in one inning, but kind of going back into the last like month or so of the season, he's been incredible on the mound. I think this was the worst start he's had in a month, and it was still like a good start.
Yeah, he went like 5 or 6, giving up
I think
three,
he went sixth. Yeah.
but it wasn't even like it was crazy. It was like, wasn't it double after double after double, or was that in? Oh,
Yeah, it was just
that
like
was the Brewers against Matt Boyd.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
he gave up like a couple base runners and then he gave up a big triple to Real Muto.
that's what
But
it
aside
was.
from that,
Yeah,
it was like not
and
a
then a
whole lot
sac
of
fly to score Real Muto.
yep. And I
Yeah.
believe he had like nine he had 9 Ks in this game too
Uh,
yesterday.
I mean, I could just tell us, or we could guess. Which one do you want?
I'm gonna guess 9.
9. So,
Good guess, right?
3 runs, 3 hits, 6 innings, 9 Ks.
Yeah.
And then Glasnow came in to relieve him.
Yeah, that is
So,
their pitching is insanely good right now. It's just locked in and it almost feels like they're not gonna need like typical relievers because they can go to like Glass now in the middle of a game and finish out with Sasaki. It's like they can rely on their starters pretty much exclusively.
yeah. And in game 2, Yamamoto went 6 2/3, giving up 2 runs, both unearned. And so being able to ride him for 6 2/3, being able to ride Snell for 7 innings, that's absolutely huge. Then you get the extra off day for sweeping the division series or sweeping the wild card series. So now everybody's rested coming into this series against the Phillies, and the Phillies got the bye, so they're rested. So that's huge.
Yeah, and I just had this thought about Dave Roberts. Like Dave Roberts has managed how many tens of postseason games now? I mean, the Dodgers made the playoffs like
He's
12 of the last
managed
13 years.
110s of postseason games.
110s, yeah. So
110s.
he has a crazy amount of experience, and he's almost not he doesn't have the nerves like other managers, and he's almost less likely to make a kind of boneheaded decision or like some panic decision because he's just seen everything that can happen in a postseason series. He just may have a leg up on like some guys that don't have the same experience.
Okay, so Dave Roberts' postseason record in his career. I'll even throw out the first year with the Padres where he managed a single game.
What year was that?
That was 2015.
Oh, okay.
But in 10 years with the Dodgers, he has a 59-44 postseason record with 4 pennants and 2 World Series championships.
Yeah. So about 10 tens of games.
It's possible that Dave Roberts is a good manager.
Yeah, we don't like to give him credit for it, but I mean, just he did this interview before yesterday's game, and I was like, he's so chill, he's so relaxed, and maybe he's just really good at showing that confidence in his team and stuff. But he just seems like, oh, just another day on the job. It's not like super unique, and it's not really for the Dodgers. It's just what they do.
So the other thing that I'm seeing here in the box score for the series, though, that I think is going to be absolutely massive for the Dodgers is that Mookie appears to be hitting,
Yes.
which this has been a down year for him. Still solid player. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like an Arenado fall off, but this was a down year for him. But on game 2, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. He went 4 for 5 in game 2. And I believe he also played pretty well in game 1, going 2 for 4. With just 2 singles, but 2 for 4. So him showing up, especially now, is huge because you're not just relying on, well, I mean, it's the Dodgers. They're not really just relying on Ohtani, but point still stands. Like Teo has been moved so far down in the lineup right now. Actually, no, sorry, that's Kike. I forgot they have 2 Hernandezes.
I was gonna say, Teoscar has
He's batting
pretty much
5th.
picked up where he was last year. He's been phenomenal. He has 3 homers in the postseason already. He was like the hero last year, and he's kind of doing it again this year.
Yeah, I saw Kike down there and got confused. My bad. But Kike, though, another postseason moment. He had in skipping ahead to the division series, but I believe he had the tie-breaking hit, didn't he?
I don't know. I missed that one.
So
No, it was Teoscar, right? He had the big home run. He had the 3-run homer, right?
Earlier in the game, because I think there were a couple lead changes. So Kike doubled in the 6th inning to score Freddie and Tommy Edman to actually put the Dodgers on the board is what it was. To get them down by just 1. And then in the 7th, then Teo hit his big homer to take the lead. So really, that was the Hernandez game, just straight up.
It was, yeah. And it's kind of crazy because don't look at Kike's numbers from the season. He was dreadful. Like he batted under 200. They just keep him around. And how many games in the postseason has Kike played for the Dodgers? And he's done some big things. I very distinctly remember Kike hitting 3 home runs in the 2017 NLCS against the Cubs. So he's had these like big moments, and they haven't had a guy that really has been a left fielder. I think Kike is kind of the guy now for this postseason run.
Okay, so Kike in the postseason. This is going to include his 1 game or 1 season in Boston because it's harder to just factor that out. In the postseason in his career, Kike is a 285, 356, 525 hitter for a 135 WRC plus with 15 home runs, 40 runs scored, and 38 RBIs. Strikes out less than 20%, walks about 9%. Kike is very much a postseason player.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other guy that has this type of stark split versus his regular season numbers.
He's not allowed to get any more postseason hits in his career. Sorry, I just stumbled upon a stat.
How many games does he have?
In the postseason?
Yeah.
89.
89. So
89.
Pretty much all those David Roberts games.
Now, 11 of them were in Boston.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because Boston did make it pretty far in 2021.
Yeah,
I believe they made it to
They made it to the championship series, I believe.
Okay. Who did the Braves play in the World Series that year? Houston?
Uh,
I think it was Houston.
okay. Yeah, probably.
Um,
Yeah, that sounds right. Because the Astros were always in the CS every year, basically.
yeah. But yeah, so the boring series, the short one, and it's still very much an exciting series, unless you're a Reds fan. But if you're a Reds fan, you're just happy that you squeaked into the postseason because that was
Well,
not something that was supposed to happen.
That's one team though that kind of they're in a bad they're kind of desperate for a series win because they literally have not won a playoff series since 1995. I didn't realize that. And prior to this season, they had made the playoffs in 2020, which barely counts. They got swept out of that first round, 2 games. Before that, the last time they had played a game was 2013 in the postseason. So not a great run for the Reds in recent memory. So I guess
So
maybe
how many
this is a success.
how many times did they make the postseason between their 1990 championship and 95 when they last won a series? Let's see here. They didn't. They literally 1995 was the only postseason that they have made since their last World Series where they have also won a series.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just bad. Huh. Well, so yes, the Reds are very much hurting for any kind of postseason success, and they definitely drew the short straw here by having to go up against the Dodgers. I think pretty much everybody looked at that and knew that unless something magical happened, this was the likely outcome. So hopefully the Reds can continue to progress and improve over this year, and then maybe next year squeak back in and have an easier matchup facing, I don't know, the Cubs or the Brewers, some just really good team.
Yeah.
So
as we get into the DS, I think one big thing that's standing out to me is just how good the National League is right now. The 4 teams in, I truly believe they are the 4 best teams in baseball, really. I mean, you could make the case for the Yankees, maybe.
I would make the
but
case for the Blue Jays.
now you kind of want to, but I don't know. Like those NL teams are very strong and it's very hard to separate them because I think they're all just so good.
This is a very stacked NL, and I think the way it stands right now, the NL is the favorite to win the World Series.
Unless they beat each other up for 2 rounds here.
Yeah. So, but the teams left in the American League are also very good teams. Like the one that has struggled the most recently is the Tigers, and the Tigers led the league, not just the American League, but led the league in record for the first 2/3 of the year. And they still have Tarek Skubal. In fact, I believe Skubal is pitching tonight.
Yes.
And as of right now, it is still scoreless in the 4th inning. So, but let's go over and talk about that Cleveland-Detroit series, because I think
to me that was the boring series. Be honest, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get excited for Cleveland and Detroit. Plus, they had already played each other 7 times in the last 2 weeks of the season, so it's kind of just okay, here's another matchup.
Okay, well, we possibly just have a score update because our resident Mariners fan is telling me that it is no longer a tie ball game.
Seattle's on the board.
Seattle is on the board. Now, how did it happen?
Polanco homer.
Let's go. George. Love to see it.
Huge.
All right. But yeah, so Tigers Guardians, Skubal takes the bump game 1, and Skubal does as Skubal does. 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts.
He was dominant. Yeah.
14.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Can we give him a Cy Young for just the postseason? Because right now, I think he's still leading the pack.
Yeah. Well, we had some awesome other performances I think we're going to get to pretty soon here.
That's true. But and then his opponent on the other side there, Gavin Williams, did not have a bad start himself. He
I watched this game, yeah.
6 innings, 2 unearned runs on 5 hits and 8 strikeouts. So for second year guy in Gavin Williams, right? Third maybe?
Second year. Yeah.
Second year. So that's a big step. Yes, he qualified for the loss, not because of anything that he did. That was purely the defense behind him that lost him that game. So.
Yeah, I think so. Cleveland, to me, they were by far the worst team in the playoff field, and that's no like slight at them. It's just the other teams are really good, and they needed basically an epic collapse by the Tigers and a ridiculous stretch of winning to even get themselves in the playoffs. They should be happy they made the playoffs, and maybe they are.
So,
but this team could not hit.
Which team lucked into the postseason more out of the 2 Ohio teams? Because both of them required an epic collapse of sorts. The Reds required a true collapse where the Mets missed out on the postseason.
Yeah. I think the Reds, they had less to do with it, right? Because they just kind of played average.
They just played 500 ball and just managed to accidentally get in.
Yeah, Cleveland, I mean, at least they went into the postseason on a hot stretch.
That's fair. So I think we do need to give Cleveland a little bit of credit, though, for their game 2, because they did the thing that I didn't think they could, and they scored some runs.
Yeah,
6
it
of
all
them
happened in a bunch, right? It happened like 5 runs in the 8th or 7th inning.
So they scored 1 in the first, and then they put up a barrage of 5 runs in the 8th inning. And those were essentially all on home runs. Valera, first inning home run off Casey Mize. Casey Mize went 3, and then they pulled him, knowing that they kind of needed to get the win. If you can win in game 2, you get another off day. So you're pulling out all the stops to just win every single game in a wild card series, as you mentioned earlier. So they pulled Casey Mize after a pretty decent 3 innings. Did give up 1 run, walked 2 guys, was at 60 pitches, but he had more left in the tank. Then they shut him down until we get to, is it Jacob Melton? Is that his name? Troy Melton. Troy Melton came in a third of an inning, basically blew the game and any hope in game 2 for the Tigers. 4 runs on 3 hits, and then Brent Herter gave up another run in his 2/3 of an inning to close it out. So, but
yeah, but I mean, look at the 3 games combined, right? It was like that 1 inning where they scored basically all their runs for the series. Other than that, they didn't do anything.
Yeah. But we do have to give them credit for something good, and so I'm going to say multiple home runs. That's very anti-Cleveland. So, right. But Bybee also pitched a pretty good game. 4 2/3 before he got pulled. 6 Ks, 1 run. Had some issues with walks, but it didn't end up coming back to bite him, so it's fine. But then game 3, I think, is where pretty much everything lies here. And this is Jack Flaherty came out, the veteran with a ton of experience in the postseason, gave the Tigers 4 2/3 of 1-run ball to put them in control here. Well, not even in control. He didn't get the win. So he came out with a no decision And the Tigers actually didn't take the lead until the 6th inning, but Flaherty getting them through almost 5 set them up to where they could just turn it over to Finnegan, Holton, Canely, and Will Vest to close out the series and take the win. Whereas the Guardians went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers to try and claw back in that game. And it did not work. But it looks like basically Cantillo, Sabrowski, and Gaddis gave up all of their runs.
What was the final score of the game 3?
6-3.
6-3. Okay.
You had a Dylan Dingler home run off of Joey Cantillo. Harry Carpenter had a big double. Javi Baez had a double. Yeah. Then George Valera pretty much was the entire offense for the Guardians in that series.
Hopefully that's a sign of things to come, because he used to be like a really well-regarded prospect. It just took him like 8 years to make the majors. And now he's here and looks like he's making an impact already.
Chase DeLauder, actually, I probably should mention this. Chase DeLauder made his major league debut in this series too. He came in. So he did not play in game 1, correct? They held him out, gave him the start in game 2. He went 0 for 2 before being removed at some point for Daniel Schneemann. But then he did get his first major league hit in game 3, where I believe he went 1 for 4. So not the best start for DeLauder. You're put in a tough situation there. And I mean, I guess if you're him, you're a little thankful that they held him out for Skubal to not be pitching for his debut, because that would not be fun. So, all right, I think we have one more division series, or one more wild card series, sorry, to talk about, and this is the fun one, I think, in my opinion. The biggest rivalry of the wild card round: Boston going into the Bronx, taking on the Yankees. And game 1 had a Garrett Crochet versus Max Fried matchup. And both guys threw gems. Crochet outdueled. Crochet actually went 7 2/3 innings with 1 run given up and 11 strikeouts on 117 pitches. Max Fried, on the other hand, 6 1/3, 6 Ks, no runs, on 102 pitches. So both guys pitched really well. It ultimately came down to the bullpen here, where Luke Weaver got the blown save, gave up 2 runs. Fernando Cruz, Devin Williams came in, both shut down Boston for their part. Bednar gave up another run, and so Boston came out and took the lead here in game 1. And you have the lead in this series, it's really hard to lose it, it seems.
Yeah, I think in the last like 3, how many years? This is year 4, I think, of this format, not counting 2020.
Yeah, I think it's 22, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah.
Yeah. And no team that had lost game 1 had come back to win a series. The Yankees changed that.
Yeah. So, I guess that being said, we should probably look at game 2. Game 2, this was, I believe, Brian Bayo versus Carlos Rodon. Rodon had a solid start. 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 Ks. Brian Bayo had a really short leash, 2 1/3, and he was out of there. He gave up 2 runs. They turned to Wilson, went to the bullpen for the rest of the game. And the Yankees ended up putting up another run on Slayton and another on Garrett Whitlock back in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead.
Yeah, this was an intriguing game because, like, the Yankees, they have quite a few lefties in their lineup, like Jazz, Bellinger, um, and Cora, Red Sox manager, had like 5 lefties in his bullpen, but he still stuck with Whitlock in a huge moment. I believe he's the one who gave up this go ahead hit by Austin Wells that scored Jazz Chisholm from first base, that was phenomenal base running. He never broke stride, and he scored all the way from first on this double down the right field line. And Jazz had actually been benched in game one, so he was able to bounce back and score the go ahead run in game two.
Yeah. So then we get to the all important game 3. And game 3, I believe, was basically the Yankees from the start. Ham Schlittler, 8 innings in game 3, 12 Ks, 5 hits, absolutely dominated Boston.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what's his first name? Connolly Early comes
bad.
out. Not
He actually
bad.
wasn't too bad. He just ran into a little bit of trouble in one inning, essentially, and gave up a few runs. But actually, a solid start for a rookie pitcher. But this is such a shock that Sam Schlittler would go throw 8 innings. Any pitcher, it's a surprise if they throw 8 innings in a postseason start. But a rookie pitcher who made his debut like 3 months ago or something. I mean, incredible.
Yeah. And like early, all of his runs came in the 4th inning. He didn't end up finishing the 4th inning, and 3 of the 4 were earned. So there was a little bit of this jam that was not his fault. But you go down, give up a 4 spot in the middle innings there, and you're pretty well cooked. Especially if your offense is not getting it done. And I believe only Masataka Yoshida was able to put up multiple hits on. I'm actually not even convinced that they were. Yes, they were all on Schlittler, because Bednar had a clean inning. Not a clean inning. He gave up a walk. So the Yankees end up coming down from being down after game 1 to actually win this series, to face off yet another American League East team in the Blue Jays. So they had to pull out pretty much all the stops just to make it in. Now they're playing the team that won the division, won the number 1 seed in the league, and we're over to the division series. So where do you want to start in the division series?
Probably right there with the Yankees and the Jays.
All right, so we are 2 games into the American League Division Series now, especially for the teams out east. And game 1, Luis Heel versus Kevin Gausman, and it was close until it wasn't, and that was in the 7th inning. So it was 2-1 Blue Jays. They went up early. I think Nathan Lukes had so Vladdy homered in the first, and then Alejandro Kirk homered in the second. Alejandro Kirk would end up finishing this game with not 1, but 2 home runs. Just absolutely killing it. I do not understand where Alejandro Kirk has found this. It's incredible. This has been a phenomenal season for him, and I love it. But so the Jays set the tone early. The Yankees were able to hold on for a bit. They put up a run in the 6th with what was it? It was bases loaded walk. That's what it was.
That's right. Gausman actually got Judge with the bases loaded, but then the next batter he immediately walked.
Yeah, and so Bellinger ended up
Gausman
walking.
Actually, I mean, I thought Gausman was phenomenal in this game, at least in the early going. He actually, he ended up getting in trouble in that 6th inning, was it? And then leaving.
But so they actually, after the walk, They let him face Ben Rice, who popped out infield fly. Then they pulled Gausman when Stanton came up, still with the bases loaded.
That's right.
So
yeah, I was surprised that Gausman did so well, but he actually had a really awesome season, just kind of in line with all these other Blue Jays who have had bounce back seasons or career seasons. In the case of like Kirk, George Springer having a blast from the past season, Kevin Gausman doing kind of the same. It's just all turning face up for the Jays this season.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's kind of face down for Luke Weaver there in the Yankees bullpen. I love Luke Weaver. I have kind of a touch and go relationship with him in his career. But I do ultimately love the guy, and he was the postseason hero for the Yankees last year. Became the closer very, very end of the season, dominated through the postseason, got the Yankees to the World Series against the Dodgers. And just this year has not been his year. He actually had, I think now this is his second blown save. Well, technically they were already behind here. So not blown save, but like he's given up most of the runs in the Yankees bullpen, and that's including Paul Blackburn, who gave up 4 in game 1, just trying to get to the end of the game. So this game was not particularly close. It was for 6 innings, and then the Blue Jays just blew the doors off it, 10-1. And then today was a little bit of the same.
Yeah, but they basically had this lead from the early going. It wasn't like tack on runs from game 1. They were just from the start. They were just putting up runs, and Vladdy hit a grand slam.
Ernie Clement homer.
Yep.
Dalton Varsho homer. I think Varsho might have homered twice.
He did. He homered twice.
Springer homer. Now Cody Bellinger did homer for the Yankees. So the Yankees got some power today. Not much, but some. But yeah, so Max Fried was back out there today against the rookie who debuted about a week and a half ago. I think this is his 4th career start.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And 3 out of the 4 of those starts have been phenomenal. Trey Savage, 5 1/3 innings, 11 Ks, 0 hits.
Yeah.
1 walk. And he handed over a let's see, that would be an 11-0 lead. No, a 12-0 lead when he came out of the game. And
then John Schneider had some very odd maneuverings with his bullpen to get to the end of it. I mean, they did give up quite a few runs, but when you have a 10-12 run lead, I feel like you don't need to play matchups. That seems like an odd thing to do.
Yeah. So were they playing matchups so much, or was it just
I think they were.
Or was it just the guy that they put in gave up enough runs that you only gave him 1 out and then you just tried to go to someone who would get the outs?
I guess. I don't know. I thought they were kind of playing matchups, but
his Brule, is that how you pronounce it? Brule?
Yeah. Yep.
He gave up 2 immediately after Savage came out. Didn't even complete the inning. Then they brought in Fisher, who got the out, still gave up a hit. Then the next inning, started clean with Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer?
Yeah.
He gives up 3 runs on 1 out. So then you turn to Nance. He gives up 2 runs, getting 1 out. And then you finally get to Fluharty, who's able to close it out. So I don't know if it's so much they were playing matchups, or is the guys in the middle of the middle innings they were just entirely ineffective. It wasn't until they got to Louis Varland in the was at the 8th inning that like they actually got some solid relief.
So maybe that's a concern, but they're like burning through a whole bullpen. I guess they got the off day tomorrow and everything, so it's not a huge concern, but it's just like you would think you could go to any one low leverage guy and they should be able to get you through a 12 run lead.
You would
But
think.
John Schneider got quite nervous, it seems, along the way.
Yeah. Um,
I
I
don't
will
know.
say,
Impressive though. I'm surprised though, because to me, the Yankees are way better than the Jays. That's not what's happened over the first two games. But I just think like in most ways, the Yankees are they're just a better team. Um,
yeah,
they haven't showed
see,
up.
I I agree that on paper, yes, but from just the eye test this year, it does seem like Toronto is maybe clicking better and has throughout the year. Because I mean, yes, the Yankees won 94 games or whatever it was. That's
They
a
both won
lot
the
of
same
wins.
number of games, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, just the way that they got to that, it seems like it was a lot cleaner for the Blue Jays to get to 94.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I realize that's a wild thing to say because any team that wins 94 games is just super
You can't
good.
fluke that.
No,
Yeah.
you can't fluke it. But I feel like the Yankees are should have won more than that.
I think it's just like,
on paper, this is
but
a
it's
100-win Yankee team.
is it just the magnification of all things Yankees that people see the ups and downs of their season more than a team like the Jays?
So yes, 100% that is part of it. Just because it seems like pretty much no matter what, because of the expectation of success for the Yankees, their fans when they are in a slump.
Losing streak. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a losing streak. I'd just say you're not winning as handily as you think you should. The sky is falling.
Yep.
And that's not really the healthiest relationship with winning, perhaps.
Whatever it is, that's the reality of the Yankees.
It is. And so there is part of it that to me is probably I am friends with enough Yankees fans that I do hear that. And so it's like, well, but I also kind of expected the Yankees to be more dominant, to just have the division lead and not go through all this drama towards the end of the season. There was a stretch during the regular season where they did actually have like a substantial losing streak. And that kind of put them to where they had to fight to win the division, and they came up literally like 2 runs short in a game against the Blue Jays earlier in the season that ended up giving the Jays the tiebreaker. But I don't know. Now we're going back to the Bronx. We'll have the short porch. Maybe the Yankees can start to tee off. Who's pitching game 3? Do you know?
Guessing Carlos Rodon.
Do you know who'd be going for the Jays?
Bieber.
Okay. Bieber Rodon. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it should be.
And-
But I guess all to say, Yankees are not out of this, even though they're down 2. Like, they can absolutely still win the series, especially since they've got home games now.
Yeah.
And they've got Rodon, who's been great all season, and then probably Schlittler lined up for game 4 if they get there. And he was phenomenal, obviously, in that first start. So they probably hold the starting pitching advantage for both games 3 and 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Judge and Stanton and they're gonna
Let's
need
be clear
to.
though, Judge has not been the problem. He
He
has
hasn't.
8 hits. in
He's
18 at-bats this
definitely not been
postseason.
the
He's been
problem, but
phenomenal.
he's been
Yeah.
the only one succeeding so far. I guess to a lesser extent, Bellinger has done damage. He's not like coming out and getting a ton of hits, but he's done damage when he has hit the ball. So I don't know how much blame you put on him, but like the lower half of this order though, Stanton, Jazz, Volpe, Austin Wells, they haven't shown up yet in the postseason.
I guess I don't agree though. I feel like they have. They did just enough in the Red Sox series. Volpe had a homer. Wells had the big hit. Jazz scored the run. I mean, I think they've done okay.
To get them to here, yes, but if the Jays are going to sit here and put up 10 runs a day,
oh yeah,
you need those guys to step up.
Yeah, well, to the point of the offense, though, I mean, they scored 7 runs today. That wasn't the issue. The issue was Max Fried laying an egg.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see how this series goes, though. I fully believe this series will end up at five games. We do have a couple other series here that have started. So right now, goodness, where did this go? I have the same thing up twice, and I thought I had the active scores. So top of 6, Seattle is up 1-0 over Detroit in game 2. Game 1 was an 11-inning showdown. So let's see. Let me get that one pulled up now because I don't have it yet. Final 11. There we go.
It was basically a game where Seattle could not hit. I mean, if you look at the box score, there's literally only 2 guys that have anything in the hits column. It was Big Dumper and Julio, who both had great games. I think they had like 2 or 3 hits each. And then nobody else in the entire lineup had a hit.
Yeah.
And it feels like a huge disappointment because they had to have this game, especially with Scooble going game 2. I mean, I see they're winning in game 2 somehow against Scooble, but it just felt like a huge letdown to lose that game at home. And the Tigers got to be feeling great about it because they stole that one from Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers ended up out hitting the Mariners by 1 hit, and it was an 11th inning game winning hit.
Yeah.
But
wait, who had that game winning hit again? I can't remember.
It was.
Was it McKinstry? Or did he score that run?
Yes, it was McKinstry.
Yeah, I think it was McKinstry, yeah.
Yes. I was thinking it was Kerry Carpenter, but no, he had the 2-run homer in the 5th inning.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
No, this was just like a classic postseason low scoring matchup, especially in Seattle where it's hard to come by runs.
So, did you know after that Kerry Carpenter home run yesterday, Kerry Carpenter is now 5 for 9 against George Kirby?
That's interesting.
I didn't think anyone would be 5 for 9 against George Kirby.
Yeah.
Let alone someone on the Tigers. But J-Rod, though, he pretty much was the offense for the Mariners yesterday as well. So he ended up hitting a home run early in the game in the 4th inning off of Melton. And then I believe he was also on base in that 11th inning, wasn't he? Wasn't he the one, or didn't he end up reaching first and then it kind of got out of hand from there and he didn't end up advancing off of first?
That I don't recall.
Scroll. Hyder Montero replaces Will Vest. Randy Arozarena grounds out. Third baseman McKinstry to first baseman Torque. Cal Raleigh pops out. J-Rod singles on a ground ball to Riley Green, and then Naylor grounded out. So yeah. J-Rod managed to get himself on base in that 11th inning to give them a base runner to hopefully be able to scratch across. It was with 2 outs, so it's too little too late there, but you can't be mad at J-Rod at this point. And first half of the season, I think he's proven in his career, basically don't look at his numbers until about the middle of June and then start to watch J-Rod because it's going to be fun.
Don't look at anybody's numbers until the end of the season, but his numbers will be pretty much where they always are.
At the end of the season, yes. In June, they're going to be abysmal, and you're going to think that he needs to be optioned.
Just don't look. Yeah.
So, but then today, Scooble versus
Luis Castillo.
versus Castillo. That is a
Yep.
premier matchup.
Yeah, Castillo got through even despite giving up 4 walks. It looks like he only gave up 1 hit, and now he's been relieved by Gabe Spire. So they're going heavy bullpen once again, as a lot of these postseason games are. Scooble is still going through 5 innings, and he's given up
Scooble's at
just the one
73
homer.
pitches. So my guess is he is going to.
He's got
Well,
a couple more in him for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm guessing he goes at least 6 1/3 is my guess.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
We'll definitely see him come out for the 6th here in a second because Winsel Perez just popped out to end the inning. So, all right, then we have 2 more series to discuss. I think let's start with the one that's going to make you sad, and then we'll go to the one that had the fun finish, perhaps. So game 1 of the National League Division Series in Milwaukee for the Major League leading Milwaukee Brewers. Freddie Peralta versus Matt Boyd. Peralta has been the ace that the Brewers have been needing since Corbin Burns left and got traded to Baltimore. And he pitched exactly what they needed. 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, did give up 3 walks, but ultimately a great game. And his opponent, Matt Boyd, got tagged for 6 runs, only 2 of them earned. So
I can elaborate on that. So,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna need some explanation because this was all in 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah, so it was pretty boom, boom, boom. It was like first batter, Churio gets a double. Then literally the first pitch to Bryce Terang is hit down the right field line for another double. And then the very next pitch is another double by William Contreras. So immediately the Brewers have put up 2 runs. And then Boyd, I believe he got an out. There was 1 out. And then there was a pretty slow bouncing ball to second base with a couple runners on. And Nico Horner just missed this ball because he was kind of like caught in between, probably deciding whether he was going to go to second or first or what he was going to do on this play. And he made an error very uncharacteristically because this guy's like Gold Glover, phenomenal defender. And the Cubs, typically, they play very, very clean, good defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. But that was just like a terrible moment for the Cubs because it was like anytime you give the Brewers these opportunities, you give them like extra outs, they always capitalize. Like that's how they've made their season a 97 win year. It's because they make less mistakes than you, like pretty much always. And the Cubs just like were in a deep hole at that point. It was 6-1 after 1 inning, and then they ended up tacking on 3 more runs. Mike Soroka was horrible in this game. The good news is, like from a Cubs perspective, they were not really favored to win this game anyways. They were going up against Freddie Peralta. They were probably going to lose no matter really what happened. And they didn't have to burn any of the A bullpen because Aaron Savali saved them. He pitched 4 2/3 innings. Ben Brown finished this game. So they used like 3 relievers only. And it was the last 3 guys in their bullpen after Matt Boyd left really early in the game.
Well, and so I think the frustrating thing to me, and I didn't watch the game, I caught the highlights and have been looking at the box scores. So perhaps maybe I'm missing a little bit of context here, but you guys were doing just fine against Peralta. Like Michael Busch hit a home run in the first inning off of him. Happ ended up homering later on. Like if that error by Horner had not been made, had ended the inning.
Oh yeah, it could have been a totally
2-2
different
ball
game. No question about it. Yeah.
So
it could have been very different, but obviously all bets were off once that error happened, and
yeah,
it just totally threw off the game.
Yeah, but
changed the game.
But I think the fact that maybe you guys weren't likely to ever win that game I disagree.
Well,
They were favored for sure, but
they were favored. I'm not saying like they couldn't win the game. I'm saying they were not favored to win the game. Road game against an ace, like you're not expected to score a lot of runs. You scored 2. That probably wasn't going to be enough to win the game.
that's fair. So game 2 tomorrow. What's the matchup?
It is an opener situation. So they're going Ashby to open for likely Quinn Priester, and then Shota Imanaga for the Cubs.
Okay. And that one will be on TBS. Always funny.
Yeah, and something to note with these NLDS series, there's an extra off day that the AL series don't get. So after both game 1 and game 2, there's an off day. So it's like an extra. You only need 3 starters if you're a team in the National League this year.
So why do they schedule it like that?
They do it for TV, so you can have games every day. Because if you just had them start on the same day,
why does the NL always get the extra?
Because like it switches every year.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
No, it just seems like every time I pay attention to it, it's the NL getting the extra off day.
Nope, it switches every year.
Okay, that's fair enough then.
Yeah. I don't know. Right. I think it's going to be interesting. I think I'm biased, but I think the Cubs Brewers series should be really good just because of the type of baseball those two teams play. They're really good defensive teams, really good base running teams, and I'm excited for good baseball.
Good deal. All right, we got one more game to talk about here before we hang it up for the week. And that is the Dodgers versus the Phillies in the NLDS. So this is probably the best matchup in the division series, in my opinion. Like, these two teams are juggernauts. Yeah. So the game yesterday, Shohei.
Oh my God. Update. Jorge Polanco, double dong.
Double dong? Let's go, Jorge.
Wow.
All right, I gotta have
How about that?
I've got that pulled up now, so I can see some stuffs. Solo dong, or was anyone on?
Yep. Another solo.
Dang. That was off Scooble too?
Yes. Yeah.
Dang, Scoobs, what are you doing, bud? Yeah. Zoinks. All right, but Shohei Ohtani came out making his postseason starting debut for the year. Is this the first time he's pitched in the postseason?
He never played in the postseason with the Angels.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So yeah, making his postseason pitching debut, period. Also leading off. So that was a first in the new era of baseball. And he came out 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 9 Ks. We talked about that a little while ago. Up against Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies, and Christopher Sanchez has been so good for the last.
He had an 8 WAR season.
Christopher Sanchez did?
Yes.
Wow, I did not know that. I do know he's been incredible the last 2 years, 2.5 really. And he also went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs. So really, he came out with the lead. And early in the game, against Ohtani in the second inning, Alec Boehm ended up taking a walk. Brandon Marsh got a single, and then JT Realmuto ended up tripling in both of them. Scored on a I want to say Harrison Bader sac fly. Yeah, Harrison Bader sac fly to the left field wall. And so that put Philly up 3-0 in the second inning. We didn't see any other scoring until the 6th when Kike ended up doubling just down the third base line, scoring both Freddie Freeman and Tommy Edman without a throw. And so that's really what kind of got things started. At that point, they had pulled Christopher Sanchez. Glasnow was in the game for the Dodgers, and at that point, things were going all LA's way. They ended up scoring 5 runs against, so 2 more against Robertson and 1 more against Matt Strahm over the next inning in a third after Christopher Sanchez came out to take a 5-3 lead, which they did not give up. Roki Sasaki came in to close it out with the save opportunity and did end up getting his first career save in the postseason. So
he looked great. He looked phenomenal. So I'm excited for that storyline to unfold here.
So back-to-back games for the Dodgers. Japanese pitcher starts, Japanese pitcher finishes. It's kind of cool.
Really cool, yeah.
That's doesn't happen often.
Just no, it's period. Never happened in a postseason game, right?
I do not believe so. No.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so obviously the Phillies didn't lay an egg here at all. This is a really tough team that, like, Teoscar Hernandez hit another home run off of Matt Strahm in the 7th. Kike Hernandez had that double that scored 2. Like, this Dodgers team can either hit the crap out of the ball and beat you by scoring a ton on home runs, or they could play scrappy baseball, and that's exactly what they did. And they ended up winning a scrappy game. The Phillies, they didn't really hit all that well, but
it definitely feels like they should have had this one because they had the lead and they had their ace going. They gave the bullpen the lead and they still could not get it done at home.
Yeah. So game 2 tomorrow will be pretty interesting. I think we have
Is it Snell and Luzardo?
I think so. Let's see, October 6th. Snell, Luzardo. Yep. So I think you how much stock do you put into Luzardo's kind of his ERA, especially given the fact that he had about like a 4-game stretch of just in abyss.
He had some blow up starts. I think he's kind of inconsistent. Like some days he can just be completely off his game. Other times he can be dominant. So
and Snell's a little bit the same way.
He is, but I feel like Snell, you at least have some warning. Like sometimes he gets on like hot and cold stretches, and right now his last start was
7 innings.
He pitched 7 innings in the postseason. Yeah. I think he's kind of like rounded into form already.
Locked in.
He's on top of his game.
So are the Dodgers the favorite here in game 2, in your opinion?
Absolutely, yeah, no question about it.
So, and this is maybe a dumb question because 5-game series, you win game 1, your odds are better of winning the series than not quite as stark as the 3-game wildcard series, but certainly better than the 7-game series we're going to have. So is this essentially the Dodgers in the driver's seat and it's going to be tough for Philly to come back? Or is this Phillies team good enough that you think this series is going to get
They're good enough. I think you said it at the beginning. They're juggernauts. The Phillies are a juggernaut, and they stack up as good as anybody does against the Dodgers. They can definitely win this series.
So, do they have to win this game in Philly?
Yeah, they do because they put up a stat in the Yankees game. 89% of teams that go up 2-0 win the series in the DS.
Yeah. Which that makes sense because you got 3 chances to win 1.
Yep.
So, and you're going to have a guaranteed home game. So, yeah. So, it's certainly interesting. We've got a lot of good baseball left for this season. I think this postseason, while I've personally not watched nearly as much as I would like to have, I'm having issues with my MLB TV, and it's fun. So I got mad and just started watching something else.
There's still, a lot of the month left and a lot of good baseball to be played.
Yeah. So we will be back here. Hopefully we can actually do a watch party at some point. Yeah. So, which I'll talk to you about that offline, because I've got a little bit of an interesting thing that we could try and do with that. But yeah, so that's all we got for you guys today. If your team is in the playoffs and you think that we have completely bastardized our analysis and you want to tell me we're wrong, reach out to us on social media. We would love to see your very kind replies and tell us why we're dumb. So you find us at Getaway Day Pod on Twitter, Instagram, I think technically Facebook. I don't know, YouTube comments. It'll be fun. So thank you very much. We will see you guys next time. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Getaway Day Pod. If you enjoy card collecting, check out our sister YouTube channel at Getaway Day Cards.